The death toll from Delhi mob attacks and violence has reached 40. More than 200 are injured. As the death toll climbs in the aftermath of the riots, families of the victims are waiting for the bodies of their loved ones to be released. At a mortuary in northeast Delhi, a large crowd of relatives has been gathering. Some say their loved ones were beaten to death with rods, while others were shot. One man said his brother died when mobs set his car on fire while he was still in it. There is an uneasy calm here in Delhi today, but the horror continues for the families of those who died. There is also frustration with delays in releasing the bodies. Some families say they were promised they could bury their relatives today, but that is looking uncertain now. It is not surprising that almost all of those waiting for bodies to be released from this morgue are Muslim. Muslims communities have been targeted in Delhi by RSS-VHP-BD and Sangh Pariwar. Hindu fascist groups attacked Muslim communities in northeast Delhi. The purpose was clearly to frighten the Muslims to stop protesting against Citizenship Amendment Act. Many say they have no homes to go to now, as their houses were either burnt or looted in the violence. Hundreds of Muslim families so far have been forced to leave their homes to save their lives. The well-planned and targeted mob attacks and violence that was started 5 days ago is still going on. The destruction of properties and human lives continue without any break for days. The police watched that killings, mob lynching, abuse and attacks as a silent spectator. No real effort was made by the police and Interior Ministry under Amit Shah to stop this madness and killing spree. Instead, police in many cases facilitated the violent fanatic mobs to kill people and to destroy the properties and vehicles. Photographs, videos and accounts on social media painted a chilling image of the city in the last few days. Hindu mobs beating unarmed men, including journalists, of groups of men with sticks, iron rods and stones roaming on the streets in Delhi. Many, including journalists, have tweeted and spoken of mobs demanding to know their religion. The unrest in northeast Delhi was centered on Muslim-majority neighborhoods, such as Maujpur, Mustafabad, Jafrabad, Chand Bagh and Shiv Vihar. The destruction is visible everywhere in these areas. The streets are littered with stones and broken glasses. Correspondents described broken and burnt vehicles strewn about, and the stench of smoke from smoldering buildings filling the air. The RSS-BD and VHP cadres are being used to organize violent attacks against Muslim communities in northeast Delhi, which became symbol of resistance against Citizenship Amendment Act. Modi government wants to break this center of resistance and struggle. The media is describing the state-sponsored violence in Delhi as clashes between anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protesters and pro-Citizenship Amendment Act protesters. This description creates the impression that pitched battles are taking place on the streets in Delhi. The reality is that well-organized RSS-VHP and BD mobs armed with swords, guns, axes, sticks and knives are attacking the Muslim neighborhoods. In some instances, Muslim youth did try to defend themselves and retaliate with stones and sticks. But these are isolated incidents in which Muslim mobs clashed with violent Hindu mobs in retaliation. The mainstream media is trying to hide the fact that what happening in Delhi is not a spontaneous reaction or sudden provocation as a result of an incident or event, but a well-calculated and politically motivated move to punish those who dare to challenge the Modi government. The real battle and clash that is taking place in India at the moment is not between two religious groups. It is between those who are fighting for the heart and soul of India, that India is home as a home for all faiths, nationalities and races, and those who believe that India is the home only for Hindus. It seems a well-planned attempt to tame and frighten anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protesters. The mob violence has been used against Muslim communities to send the clear message to others involved in struggle and resistance that same could happen to them. In Delhi mob violence, the target seems to be the anti-CAA protest movement. The other purpose seems to be to further impose the Hindutva agenda. The Modi government wants to turn India into a Hindu state. In that process, he wants to destroy the Indian democracy and constitution. He has targeted the Muslim communities to start with. But he will not stop there. Like Hitler in Nazi Germany started with Jews, but later he targeted the trade union movement, Social Democrats, Communists, Socialists and even liberals. Hitler took advantage of the infighting between Social Democrats and Communists. They failed to form a united front against fascism. Indian opposition is making the same mistake. Indian left and working class movement needs to form a united front with Congress and other opposition parties to stop the Modi. Condemning the Modi government is not enough to stop this madness. The opposition parties, both the national ones and regional, must form united front to stop this march of fascism. All the secular liberal and progressive forces along with trade unions, social movements, students' organizations and women groups needs to come together to resist the Hindutva agenda. All those who believes in democracy, constitution, dignity of human life, human rights, secularism and India as a home to all religions, races, faiths and nationalities must form a broader united front and launch country-wide protest movement against fascism, hatred and divide. They must rise to stop Modi and Amit Shah-led assault on Indian democracy and secular constitution. If Modi succeed to implement the agenda of Hindutva, then Indian people will pay the heavy price. The BJP government wants to replace secular constitution with a one based on Hindu majority rule. It wants to turn a democracy into an authoritarian regime with fascist tendencies. It wants to replace Indian nationalism with Hindu nationalism. It wants to replace the Indian identity with Hindu identity. BJP RSS and Sangh Pariwar is on a mission to turn Indian state and society into a Hindu state. They are on a mission to destroy and remove every hurdle and resistance that might come in the way. No matter whether it is liberal democracy or secular constitution, every hurdle has to be cleared.